I say that the translation has been indirectly influenced with the Israelite narrative.
We haven't faced any problems in our preparations.
We can't call it the wise Hajj. In Egypt, you have a huge amount of initiative going on in terms of developing qualifications in different parts of the system.
Reading helps you gain knowledge, but saving the net doesn't help you at all.
They are all welcome to participate in the discussion and the debate about the development of qualifications.
What types of books our children do or should read?
Join me for further discussion of Focus Point.
Huda, a light in every home.
Comes to you the truth and the attribute of the one who created you, that he's one and alone running this universe, that he doesn't become born, he doesn't die, he doesn't eat and then go to the bathroom. This is not God.
You got problems here. It doesn't make sense. Who was Jesus worshiping? Because it's recorded in the Gospels. Despite all of the other issues about the Gospels, we put those aside. We just say it's mentioned there that Jesus worshiped God.
One who protects us from hunger.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's good to have you back. You're watching Ask Huda. Just a quick reminder of our telephone numbers 00-202-3855, 248 or 249. Or you can write to us at ask, that's ask@huda.tv. On the line is Brother Abdul Halim from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
On our way to Prophet Mosque, when we visit Medina, before visiting Prophet Mosque, can we visit Quba and pray 2 rakat to get the sawab of Umrah, or we have to make a separate niyat to go and visit while we are in Medina and pray 2 rakat in Quba, and then only we will get a sawab of Umrah.
Okay.
There is no specific time that one should pay a visit to the prophetic masjid. At any time you can make a ziyarah, you can enter and pray. And similarly with Masjid Quba, the virtues of praying there and earning the reward of performing Umrah, as stated in the hadith, that man tatahhara fi baytih. So if you are staying at an hotel and in your room you perform wudu, then you take off and you leave your room with the intention of praying at Masjid Quba. This is where you get the intention of performing the Umrah. But with regards to praying at which one first or at what time, there is no restriction whatsoever.
Okay, and our next caller from Nigeria, Brother Mohamed. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda. Can you please turn on the volume of your television set before asking that question, please? Okay, sorry about that, but we just remind the viewers, anytime you call, please turn on the volume of your television set. Brother Muhammad from Mauritania, he wants to know, does a woman has the right to ask for a divorce if her husband takes a second wife?
Not simply for taking a second wife, because he has not done something that is prohibited, unless if he violates her right, disregards her, or oppresses her. But simply for marrying again, the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, أيما امرأة سألت طلاقها في غير ما بأس فحرام عليها رائحة الجنة. A woman who asked for her divorce without a valid reason, a legitimate cause, it will be prohibited for her to find the fragrance of heaven. This is a serious threat. So asking for divorce, which we may hear a lot from spouses at the least differences of conflict or dispute or fight, divorce me. Asking for a divorce is a big thing, unless if it is really worth it, like the person is not praying, the person is not paying her any support, financial support, he's neglecting her, Since he got married the second one, he ignored her, he's oppressing her, he's beating her, whatever. So in this condition, these are legitimate causes. But simply because a woman threats her husband that if you ever marry, then you gotta divorce me, that is not permissible.
Okay, and a second question with regards to divorce as well. Can a wife ask her husband if he doesn't fully financially supports her? Can she ask for a divorce?
This matter has to be determined in a court whether he is supporting or not, because it varies from a person to another. And I'm saying that because I intervene in similar problems. What I have seen, the man is really supporting fully, but maybe she's asking for fancy things, or she wants to compete with her with other ladies who do nothing other than bragging about their jewels and their brand new cars and their condos here and there. So no, we have to know whether the man is doing his job or not. If he's not supporting at all and he's financially capable, we have an incident where Hind said to the Prophet ﷺ, "Inna Aba Sufyan rajulun shahih." My husband Abu Sufyan is a very tight person. Is it permissible for me to take money out of his pocket without his knowledge nor his permission? He said, خُذِي مَا يَكْفِيكِ وَوَلَدَكِ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Take what's sufficient for you and your kids on reasonable basis. So what determined the reasonable basis? Somebody dines at a restaurant and he pays $1,000 in one dinner. But when it comes to his family members, he's very stingy. This is a case. But somebody is supporting his family fully, but she's asking for extra. So we cannot generalize. We cannot give you a blank check and say, yes, you can ask for divorce. Each case has to be studied separately through counseling.
Okay, we have Sister Nashaba from the United States of America. Assalamu alaikum. Sister, you're live on Ask Huda.
I have 3 questions.
Okay.
Number 1 is, when we do further prayer in Sunnah, can we recite Surah Al-Kafirun in the first rakah and Surah Al-Ikhlas in the second rakah all the time? Or should we mix, should we skip sometimes? Can we do it all the time, or should we skip sometimes and do other prayers? Because we know that Prophet ﷺ used to recite Kafirun and Ikhlas.
Okay. Next question.
Okay. My second question is, in India, there is the Shahishita. In this Shahishita, that we turn right in the last Tashahud, and we recite to At-Tahiyyatu, and we turn right Salah, and then we do 2 Shahishita, and then we again do At-Tahiyyatu, Durud, and Dua Masr and all the things. Is it to do Shahishita like that, or is it Bidah?
Okay.
Okay,
And your third question?
Is Dua Jamila, is it Sunnah or Bidah? Can we do it? Should we do it?
If what is Sunnah? Can you repeat the third question?
My third question is, I want to know, there is a called Dua. This is called Dua Jamila.
Dua?
Dua Jamila.
Okay.
Is it a Sunnah or Bidah?
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
Or should we just
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Sister Nashaba there from the United States of America. Brother Khalid from Qatar, he says he has a cousin. A proposal came to her father from a specific family, and they knew that the boy was not really a practicing Muslim, so the father refused on this basis. There's a father.
She married on her own in a masjid.
Then she went off and she got married.
This marriage is invalid, and this relationship between the couple right now is a state of adultery. The Prophet ﷺ said in the sound hadith, لا نكاح إلا بولي وشاهدي عدل. There is no valid marriage without the approval of the guardian. Sometimes the girl says, well, because my father rejected him because he's not rich, or he doesn't have a good job, or whatever. Good, okay. We will confiscate or take away this guardianship from him, and it will be given to the grandfather, then to the brother, then to the uncle, etc. I mean, there is a sequence. But to go on your own and just get married, many cases happen like that. Then a few weeks later, she gets divorced, and she's stuck once again in her father's house. The guardianship of the father, if the father is God-fearing, religiously committed, is to make sure that his daughter has the best life mate. Neither can he force her to marry any person whom he loves, even if he is one of the companions. He doesn't have the right to force his daughter. Look at the balance. But meanwhile, Allah gave him the right that he is her father, her guardian. He raised her, he fed her, he educated her, he made her a grown-up person, wise. But sometimes emotions overcome wisdom. So that's why the opinion of the guardian is very, very essential. And it is not a matter of logic or study, it's a matter of deen. If the guardian was not consulted or was consulted and he refused and the girl still went through and got married, this marriage is invalid and she's committing a major sin. It will be only valid if the father or the guardian, whoever is the guardian, approves it. Somebody will say in this part of the world, they say that Imam Abu Hanifa said a woman can marry herself without the consent of her guardian. Yeah, but Imam Abu Hanifa also is the most strict Imam when it comes to the kafa'ah. Have you ever heard of this term? Kafa'ah? Qualification. Whether the man is qualified for the girl or not. He is the most strict in this regard. He even does not allow a girl who is a descendant of a prestigious family or an Arab family to marry without the approval of the guardian if the husband or the groom is not qualified. If he doesn't have the same prestigious position, if he doesn't have the same language, if he doesn't have the same history of the deen, etc., then he will give the father the right to void such marriage, or the sultan or the judge. So please, before cutting and pasting and taking things out of context, before a local person or local person say, ignore your father, I can marry you for $20 because Imam Abu Hanifa says so, you got to know that you'll be responsible for that. And I'm saying this because we have witnessed this a lot. Girls, please do not marry yourselves without consulting your family members, your guardians, your parents, especially because no one would love you as much as them. And you got to know that أيما امرأة نكحت بغير إذن وليها فنحوها باطل.
And this is for both married and unmarried women?
Exactly. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He addressed divorced women and their guardians. فَلَا تَعْضُلُوهُنَّ أَن يَنْكِحْنَ أَزْوَاجَهُنَّ. Do not hinder them or obstruct them from marrying their ex-husbands if they want to reconcile.
Subhanallah.
What does it mean? It means they have a say. The guardian have a say even if the woman is thayyib. Thayyib means that she's not a virgin. She's been married before. So there's no difference between whether she is a bikr or thayyib.
Okay, just at the end of the question as well, Brother Khalid was asking for your advice. He says the cousin is back home with her father.
Why? Another story.
But what's your advice in the whole situation? What can
she has to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and kiss her father's hand. This is a habit or a tradition which many of us neglected. We really have to appreciate our parents. And we have to express that every morning and every evening. Kiss their heads, kiss their hands and even their feet. Love them and respect them. And you have to understand that that is your parent. That is your parent. There are some odd cases where the parent is either drunk or not religiously committed and he's looking for a bank. He's looking for a safe. So he's looking for somebody to buy his daughter. Islam as a Sharia does not stand still in front of a condition like that. That's a problem. And that's right away will take away this guardianship from him because he doesn't deserve it. He's not qualified for it. But who will determine that? A person of authority or superiority, such as a judge or an educated local imam, if they go back to him for judgment in conflicts like that.
Okay, the other question is about marriage as well, and we had this question asked in many different ways, but this is the best way Brother Mohammed from Mauritania put it. He said, what are some of the sexual acts a man can perform with his wife according to the Sunnah?
According to the Sunnah, نساؤكم حرث لكم فأتوا حرثكم أن شئتم. Your women are your tilth, so you may embrace them as you wish, except one position that is prohibited or restricted, which is having a relationship in the rear orifice. That is the only prohibition. Other than that, any sexual position is permissible. Islam dealt with that as well. Yes, it dealt with that. And it explained all of that. There is no problem with that. Talking about it. But talking about it in a polite fashion. not watching a sexual position movie or teaching our children at the school sexual education classes and practice that practically, or showing them the safe sex. Nowadays, in the States, they pass by the law, even in elementary schools. By law, they distribute the medical condoms on the students by law, and the parents have no right to object. Elementary schools. Kids at this age, why would they be educated about things like that? It's too early. And that's why we see the fahisha is so widespreading, and we see babies carrying babies and going to school with them and having babysitting places at middle school. For whom? Not for the teachers, for the students. 10, 11, and 12 years old, a girl is taking her baby with her to the school. It's a shame. Why? It's as simple as that. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, listen carefully. I'm going to send Adam and Eve down to earth. فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُم مِّنِّي هُدًى فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا يَضِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى. Surah Taha. Whoever will follow my guidance, which I reveal, whatever he revealed in the Torah, in the Gospel, in the Zabur, or in the Quran, if you follow my guidance, then you will never go astray, nor will you ever suffer of any distress in this life. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي. Look at the threat. And whoever turns his back to my reminder, ignores it, he's secular, he's not religious, he thinks that man can make laws better than Allah's decisions and laws. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. Allah is going to make his life miserable. ضَنْكًا. In addition to the severe punishment which is awaiting them. وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. Then on the day of judgment he will be resurrected as blind. Why? Because he neglected the guidance of Allah in this life, and similarly he will be neglected in the hereafter. If somebody or a couple want to get married, they sit with the sheikh, or the girl sits with her mom or aunt or a grown-up person to explain to her, and the groom would sit with the imam and ask him. And there are Islamic books in this regard. But I want to ask a question. For a middle school student, what is the purpose of teaching them sexual education? Or somebody living, like in some countries, for instance, in the Middle East now, for a student in high school or even college, it's almost impossible to get married even after graduation. They're 30 and 35 years and 40, they're still building up in order to rent a place so that they can get married. What is the purpose of giving them this unnecessary education beforehand? Why? In order to incite the fahisha and the lust in their minds, contemplate this, and that would lead to falling in the haram.
Okay, if quickly we can deal with Brother Muhammad's question from the United States of America. He's asking about, I'm not sure if I got his question correctly, but he said, is it halal to buy stocks from companies that deals with interest?
Basically, as I understood as well, he's talking about some pharmaceutical companies or whatever. Their dealing is halal, their products are halal, but maybe their transaction, they're dealing with banks and so on.
Yes, that's exactly.
You will not find a company which is 100% halal, not even in Mecca. إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ اللَّهِ. You may, but it is very, very seldom. So if this is the case, you're not responsible for their transaction, rather you're responsible for the shares which you buy in a legitimate trade.
The product itself.
The goods are halal, and the transaction itself is halal. You're not paying nor charging interest. Then فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah and keep your duty to Him as much as you can. Well, otherwise, we go to stores and buy from them, and we know that they deal with interest with the banks, or they borrow, or they lend, or whatever. So as long as the product is halal, wallahu a'lam, it is lawful for you to deal with such companies.
And he also wants to know if you can buy when the stock is low and then sell it and wait for a period and sell it when the stock is high.
Basically, this is what people do in the stock market. Why would you buy a share in BP? Because their shares are going down, right? Why? Assuming that after the oil spill dilemma is over, maybe their stock will go back, and it started going back, or whatever. So buying some goods in order to sell them in a better time and make a profit out of that is halal.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Doctor, for your time today with us on Ask Huda. And to all the viewers, we'd like to thank you very much for those who participated and asked their questions. And if you have any other question, you can write to us at ask, that's ask@huda.tv. And don't forget, support@huda.tv and our website, www.huda.tv. Until next time, I leave you in Allah's care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
If my love is attached to thee, then from sins I will be free. Each time my heart will beat, your name will resound with heat. Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate